Hello, everybody. This is an episode of Reality Is. I was intending to do this video last week, but my head wasn't right after I heard about the 15-year-old on the west side that they found him in a garbage can, body burned. Somebody had killed him. The 14-year-old that had a BB gun and police shot and killed him. And Terence Crutcher, whose car broke down and needed some assistance and walking back with his hands up, was shot and killed. So what's the death toll now of how many African American men and women have died by the hands of police? There are a lot of angry people out there, and again, I've said in many videos before, I don't condone violence. Violence because of violence does not solve the problem. But we have a deep issue here. One, you're trying to bridge a gap between the community and the police, and you're trying to build the trust. When a crime is committed by the police officer, there is no justice. So what are you expecting to happen when there are no repercussions for the actions? Anger stirs, and most of the anger that stirs is suppressed anger, because things have been building, and now it has come to a head. We have people protest. We have Black Lives Matter, and people have an issue with that. But Black Lives Matter, people don't understand. We have Colin Kaepernick, who's kneeling at the anthem during games, and people have an issue, think it has something to do with the veterans. But the slogan goes, if you don't stand for something, you understand what I'm saying? You have to stand up for something. Everybody plays a part in the madness that's going on. Even those who don't feel like they should say nothing, you're still playing a part, because now you're saying that it's okay for it to continue that way. People say it's not a racist situation, but it is racist, because the statistics shows that more of us are dying than white people. I saw a video of a gentleman who committed a crime. He was a white boy. They took the boy out the house. They handcuffed him. They didn't shove him. They was handling him so gentle. They put him in the car, put their hands on top of his head, made sure he didn't bump his head. So the scales of the justice system is truly unbalanced, and it's really blind, whether we want to realize it or not. And at some point, when do you feel enough is enough? I was on Twitter, and we had conversation. I was grateful for the decent conversation. Didn't escalate to something else. When I mentioned about the police shooting the boy, they shouldn't have shot him. And it's not one time, you're shooting them multiple times. So your senses is the perception to shoot and kill. So how do you justify that? And how do you not know that it's a BB gun? Now, I'm not saying that you should not be protected, but at some point in time, somewhere in all this madness, somebody ought to come up and say, this is not right. We should change what's going on. Now, I'm not saying all police officers are bad. I'm not, because they're not. But what is happening is, like that shooting in Texas, what is happening is, the good cops is getting lumped in because of some of the bad cops. That's unfair. Truly it is. But it is reality, and it is the truth. And we might as well face this truth, because this problem is not going nowhere. It's getting worse every second, every minute, and every hour. And for those of you who sit at home and think it can happen to you, I'm sure the Crutchers thought it couldn't happen to them neither, but it did. You understand what I'm saying? So we can't sit idle and think that we don't have a part to play, because we do. We need to start pressuring our politicians to put law in. They try to put law in to protect the police officers, but what about us being killed by police officers? Don't you find something wrong with that? We look at things when people are doing things for a cause, and we find fault in that instead of looking at the reason why they're doing what they're doing. If Colin Kaepernick's display is to send a message, we say that anthem faithfully at every game, at every high school, college, professional event. And the words have no meaning because they are not being followed, period. And for some of these politicians to allow this to go on the way it's going on, it's going to continue to be a problem. This has now become like a tsunami. It's coming up everywhere. It's popping up like popcorn, and it needs to be addressed. Black lives matter. Black lives matter too. All life matter. And nobody who don't give life have a right to take it away. And we need to start doing something today. Write, tweet, use your Facebook and your social media accounts for something besides foolishness. Have a cause, have a purpose, make a stand, do something. You should be sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. My son is deceased, but my heart goes out to mothers, wives, sisters, brothers, and especially the children whose parents, fathers, and mothers will never come back home again. This is affecting everybody. And you can't bridge a gap without addressing the issue. You can't continue to scream because it's getting out of control. And now people are starting retaliating in other ways, which is not the right thing to do. It's time for a change. It really is. That's all I'm saying.